How do peptides work for weight loss? So in this video, we're going to take a deep dive into all the mechanics and the actions required so that you can not only use peptides to maximize your weight loss, but more importantly, to optimize your health span. So peptides are one of the most innovative ways that you can lose weight and keep the weight off for good if you do it properly. Anything that's that good at accelerating weight loss, there's also a risk of losing muscle mass. And so in this video, what I'm going to show you is exactly how to stack the right peptides so that you can lose the weight and keep the weight off, but also how to optimize your health and energy levels by doing these three things. So I'm going to break this down and show you all the things that I've learned in using peptides for over a decade. In our practice, East West Health, what we've seen is over 70,000 clients come through and have health transformations because we got the right testing, we got the right treatment strategy, and we have a phenomenal team. And so let's jump in. I'm Regan Archibald, and I'm the founder of East West Health, and my goal today is to show you how you can maximize the peptide stacks so that you lose weight for good. So thing number one, how do peptides actually work for weight loss? Well, they take away your cravings. Now, I don't know about you, but one of the things I have sitting on my right shoulder or my left is this little voice that says, man, something crunchy would be nice to munch on right now, Regan. You know, you're just reading a book. Why don't you eat something? Or I just need something a little sweet. You know, I just ate dinner. Chocolate sounds kind of good. You know, that cake sounds even better, right? I don't know if you're like me, but I constantly have this little dialogue in my head, and it tries to lead me into food that is an instant source of energy. And so when I started utilizing peptides over 10 years ago, I just noticed that that voice just went away. And yes, it's still there if I don't take care of my nutrition, if I'm not exercising, if I have too much stress, my sleep's dysregulated, if I'm in a moldy environment, that's when that voice can really come out again. Outside of those things, if you handle your lifestyle, the peptides are the bypass. And the bypass is they turn off the cravings. They turn off that inner voice so that you don't have to rely on willpower alone to handle the thing that you're looking to accomplish, which is weight loss. The alcohol cravings, even in some of these GLP-1s, they're doing studies and they're finding that, you know, for alcoholism, the next iteration, you guys are getting a front row seat to the cutting edge innovations in the world of peptides, but it's called HA931. And what this peptide is being introduced to the market and is in phase 3 clinical studies right now. In the clinical trials, they're using it for alcoholism. And even though this peptide, it's retatrutide, so it's a triple agonist with IGF-1 LR3. So it's a phenomenal peptide stack that this company out of, I believe it's Singapore, that they've created, but they're bringing it to market for alcoholism. And so if you think, well, yeah, peptides do reduce cravings and they reduce hunger. And it's a brilliant thing because what I've seen is I had a client and he started on the peptides. We had him on tirzepatide, we had him on CJC 1295, he's on melanotan, so he likes to be tan. And he said, you know what, Regan, I don't like the way wine tastes anymore. What have you done? And I was like, well, I mean, you did ask me to help you lose weight, and wine doesn't seem to be a big weight loss promoter. Maybe small amounts, like an ounce or less, but you know, you were drinking like a bottle. He's like, man, but I've got one of the most extensive wine collections in Utah. So I said, well, bring them over to me. I'll take care of them for you. Well, he actually, I don't know what he did with them, but he stopped drinking wine. And the beautiful thing of that is sometimes we feel so defeated in our health journey, we just think we can never do it, and we start to personalize it. And the thing that our brains are wired to do is our brains are always fixated on what's negative, what's not working in our life. And so when you have a day where you failed, where it's like, man, I did end up eating the chips, or I ordered the cheesecake and I knew I shouldn't, and I got on the scale and sure enough, I gained another pound, and that type of talk just needs to go away. But it's really hard to get it to go away on your own, and it's not your fault. What's happened in the American society is our foods are not the same foods that we ate 100 years ago. They're certainly not the same foods we ate 50 years ago. So what I want you to do is a quick survey, and I want you to think, okay, do you notice that you get sugar cravings after you eat? Do you need something just a little sweet? Okay, just answer yes or no. Put this in the notes below. And we definitely want to hear from you. Number 2, do you notice that you have little skin tags? Look at, if you need to go check in the mirror, you're like, I haven't looked at my body in a long time. Well, see if you got skin tags. Thing number 3, do you get hangry? Do you notice if you go without food, suddenly the whole world is very irritating? So watch a Snickers commercial, you'll know what I mean. And then number 4, do you wake up at night to urinate? So that could be once, it could be twice, it could be every hour you wake up to urinate. So if you answered yes to any one of these 4 things, then there's a good chance you've got a condition called insulin resistance. And one of the first things you want to do is you want to run your blood labs. And when you run blood labs with us, we're going to look at over 100 different markers. And what these blood labs will reveal is if there's a marker called anion gap that's really high, if you've got hemoglobin A1C that's above about a 5.4 or 5.5, if your insulin levels, your insulin fasting is above a 5, and your C-peptide marker is above a 3, there's a good chance you've got what's called insulin resistance or metabolic dysfunction. And then we'll also look at your liver enzymes, your ALT, your AST. If your liver's not detoxifying properly, which is one of the major causes of weight gain. And then we'll look at a marker called ALK-Phos. And ALK-Phos, with your eosinophils, monocytes, all the white blood cell complex, we'll see if there's any kind of infection in your gut or any kind of what's called leaky gut or intestinal permeability. All these things can lead back to weight gain. And so the key component is start with your insulin resistance. If you have those things, put it in the chat box below, put it in the show notes, and then we will respond to you. But if you haven't had labs ran, that will be thing number 1. And then as you start adding in some of these peptides, like a GLP-1, like tirzepatide or semaglutide or retatrutide, then what you'll notice is it turns down the voice. So once you've got the sugar cravings, calm down. Once you've got the ability to regulate your appetite so that you're not ravenous all the time, now willpower is not the thing that's going to stop you from making progress, and that is freeing. So having health freedom is one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself. So the second thing that you want to look at when it comes to peptides, there's peptides that are going to be really important for boosting metabolism and increasing muscle mass. Now, boosting metabolism is kind of a nuanced term, and it's really hard to define, but most of you would think of it as, oh, now I can actually eat more and burn more fat. Well, it's not that simple. But boosting metabolism is simply, let's get the mitochondrial to the place where you're actually generating energy, because you'll notice if you have more energy, you're going to exercise more. When you exercise more, you expend more energy and you use it as a fuel source. So even those of you who are like, tap your feet, I do this with my fingers. My wife tells me, she's like, why are you doing that? I don't know, I'm just twitchy. It actually turns on metabolic activity. It's kind of funny, but just moving your body around makes a big difference. I just had a friend who returned from Korea, and what he said, he's like, I was in Korea, I felt great there. I ate the food and I loved it. I was so nourished. I walked all day. I lost all this weight. He's looking all handsome. His skin got all clear. Got a little lady over in Korea. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? I mean, it's like, this is amazing. And then he comes back to the United States, and it's just like the first 2 meals he ate, he was sick. I mean, that's the thing. So when you start making these changes in your physiology by using these peptides, you want to make sure you're putting really clean fuel into your body. What most people do when they get on like Ozempic or Mounjaro, now they think, oh, the peptide's going to cause me to lose weight. I don't need to do anything else. But they're not stacking like CJC1295, ipamorelin. They're not using sarcotropin. They're not activating their mitochondria with MOTC, SS31, humanin, 5-amino-1-MQ. All of these things, when done in the right sequence, you're not going to add all the peptides in at once, but you want to have BPC and KPV pretty much throughout whenever you're on a weight loss journey. And then you want to be detoxifying, but you can't do that. You can't out-peptide a sedentary lifestyle. You actually can't out-eat and out-nutrition a sedentary lifestyle. You got to make movement a part of your day-to-day life, even if it's twitching your little fingers like that. So for those of you who want to lose weight in the safest way, you want to stack the right peptides, then what you want to do is watch my video. It's in the show notes below, and this is where I uncover the 3 body types, and we talk about the nuanced pathways for your thyroid, the adrenal glands and cortisol, and the liver and insulin resistance. And if you can identify which body type you are, then you can actually start losing weight for good but you'll accelerate your progress. The beautiful thing about that is, in working with over 70,000 clients at East West Health, we've seen this process work every single time for every single person who just simply executes on the protocol that my fitness, my nutritional team, and the medical team puts together for you. So I'll see you on the next video.